have reached now the end of our yoke. As you can see, I continued going, 1 row of white, 2 rows of green, increasing every second row until I reach the length that I need. And now we're going to separate the sleeves. So now I'm on a white row. I'm going to knit up until the first stitch marker. I'm reaching now almost until the first stitch marker. As you can see, this is not an increased row because the previous row was an increase. So this one I'm just gonna knit up until the stitch marker. We can remove the stitch marker now, put it to a side, and now I'm going to grab a needle and a piece of yarn. Now it's very recommended to use a contrasting color piece of yarn. It doesn't have to be of the same kind of yarn you're using, but this is just what I have on hand, so I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to cut out a piece of white. I'm taking from the outside because from the inside is where I'm working with. So a longish piece, let's cut it off. Now we're going to put it in the needle. And now carefully we are going to take off all of these stitches from the sleeve up until the next stitch marker. Here I'm reaching already the stitch marker. Here we go. Let's take this off. And now we're just going to pull through the thread very carefully. Make sure you have enough tail at the end that it shouldn't suddenly pull out and then all your stitches are going to get lost. So let me pull it out. Let me hold here so it shouldn't go away. And pull out the needle. There we go. And now you could just make a knot just so that it should be secure and shouldn't become loose suddenly. Okay, here you see we have all the stitches for the sleeve on the piece of thread that we put. And now we're going to continue in the round. I'm now coming to the next stitch marker for the second sleeve. We're going to do exactly the same thing as we did with the first sleeve. Here we go. Remove the stitch marker. Now let's take another piece of yarn. There's my scissors over there. Sorry. Okay. Put it in the needle. And take off all the stitches for the second sleeve. Here I'm coming to the end, and finish. Take off the last stitch marker, pull through the needle carefully, making sure the other side doesn't come out. Okay, and let's make a knot in this one. And that's done. Now we're going to continue knitting in the round for the body. Now, as I was working up the increases, I had switched to a bigger circular needle since I had much more stitches on the needles. Now that I took off the sleeves, I'm gonna have less, and so I'm gonna switch back to my shorter circular needles just to make it easier. So I'm gonna start, I'm just gonna finish until I'm gonna change the color, and then I'm gonna switch to the smaller needles. Now I'm going to be switching to the green, and I want to transfer over to my smaller circular needles. So I've just finished transferring all the stitches over to the smaller needles, and now it's just much easier for me to do the round and around for the body. So now we finished the yoke, and we took off the sleeves, and now we're going to continue going down for the body. Same way as we have until now, just no increases, no stitch markers, just going round and round, switching colors, and until we have the length that we need for the body.